welcome back folks. My name is Last No Meal and welcome to the 6th stream of the CDPR 20th anniversary whatever event that they're doing basically, and today they're gonna be talking about GWENT. Now hopefully everyone can hear me well. I gotta check that every time because well, YouTube is YouTube and it doesn't really work all the time as it should. And also if the camera freezes, as always, you just let me know and I will fix it. So how is everyone doing today? Is LKM singing? No, if I started actually singing, I wouldn't have a single viewer on the stream. That's 100%. I cannot sing. Up for a round of GWENT. Yeah, it's crazy, like when you think about it, a game which started as basically like a small mini game within The Witcher 3 became like a standalone title, even having like full-on like cups where they have like prize money and everything that they can compete for. So it's cool. It's cool, definitely. Patch 1.6 will never come. Yeah, so when it comes to patch 1.6, today actually there was a new update in the branches, but that's pretty much it. I actually think that they might release it when, you know, Cyberpunk stream happens, and the Cyberpunk stream is going to be in 2 weeks. So next week we have Thronebreaker, and then after that it's going to be, well, Cyberpunk pretty much. They're not going to be focusing, I think, on Witcher Monster Slayer, which is that mobile ARG game. I don't think so, but you know, anything is possible. I mean, I would think that the last stream is going to be about Cyberpunk after all. So yeah. Zbigniew, thank you so much for coming. Hopefully I'm okay. Yeah, I'm doing great actually. I just finished working on a video for later, which I'm going to release. I didn't want to do it right now because obviously I'm streaming, but it is going to be a video about the day before game, which you probably heard about, and you're not going to like the video if you're excited about the game though. Greetings from the Middle East. What's up, my friend? How are you doing? So that video is gonna be coming maybe 7 p.m. my time. So after I'm done with this stream, I'm just gonna let it upload and I'll just release it then, because yeah. But today they're gonna be talking about GWENT, and they actually have the game director of GWENT who's gonna be talking more about it, and hopefully they share some more about, you know, the development cycle and like the initial process behind it. And keep in mind, I don't play the GWENT, the standalone one. I played it before and I don't know how to play it. So when it comes to me knowing like different decks, I don't know that. Like I have no clue. Did you saw the 4chan leak? What it is about now? Is it another leak about what? What is the leak about? The last leak was about GTA. And that was done by even Jason Schreier, I believe, where he shared some more info. So that was last time. Any update news for The Witcher 3? No, absolutely not. Absolutely 100% no update and no news about the next gen update, and no, they're not going to reveal it today. If that's what you're waiting for, absolutely not. Yeah. But yeah, when it comes to what was the leak? Was it something about expansion, or was it something about whatever? Because honestly, like, I take all of leaks with a grain of salt. I mean, come on. There has been a bunch of leaks that came out before Cyberpunk 2077 released, and 99% of them got like 99% of information wrong. So that was that. Hey man, what's up? William from Australia, what's up, my friend? How are you doing? Glad you were able to join. Glad you were able to join. Yeah, so how is everyone doing on this fine day? It's actually great because the temperature went down a little bit, so I'm not sweating over here while I'm doing the live stream, so that's a positive, definitely. Long time, old friend. I read a leak that Cyberpunk DLC, well, we have to like, yeah, DLC is no longer the base game. What? So when it comes to like how CDPR does this, it's you have DLCs, which are free pieces of content, then you have expansions, which are paid like expansions to the game. So that's basically their jargon that they keep, you know, with. Now, of course, there was that leak about, you know, the first expansion, or well, the only expansion for Cyberpunk being with a different character and not actually being anything related to V. So what I think the leak said is that they're gonna be doing a different story, but again, until that is official, I don't take leaks very seriously. Touch na время. Yeah, right on time. Yeah, I try to be punctual when it comes to these streams. I try to be as punctual as I can. Welcome, my friend. welcome to the stream. The next patch for Cyberpunk is supposed to be 1.8. What are they skipping? Are they skipping versions again? Why? Expansion is supposed to be 3 times longer. Third person cutscenes. Yeah. My god. I mean, look, when it comes to third person in Cyberpunk, you have to realize that when they made the game, they designed it in a way to work in first person. When you're talking, let's say, about Bethesda's games, those games are designed to work from both first person and third person. And obviously, even developing first person for any game is going to be different, where you would have to do crazy stuff to make it believable, to make it good, at the same time to make it without glitches and bugs and all of that. So when you think about like third person perspective, that's either going to be across the board or nowhere. And honestly and surely, I don't think they're gonna be implementing that, because that would require a full-on overhaul, which I'm sure CDPR doesn't want to do. I mean, think about it. They're doing only one expansion for Cyberpunk. They're not doing more. So, I mean, come on. Yeah, I think that leak is just, you know, I can make a leak. I was actually thinking of doing that just as a test, because obviously I've been through the game, I know the lore, so I can kind of create a leak in a way to make it believable. And I wanted to do it because I wanted to see how that information would spread. Now, I haven't done it, if you're wondering, so yeah. Still 50 degrees in Kuwait, oh my god, yeah, that's nuts, 50 degrees, wow. Drink water, my friend. No next gen Witcher 3, yeah. They're not going to, I mean, especially they're not going to reveal it on the GWENT stream. I mean, there might be some GWENT updates, but again, I don't play that game, so it's probably going to be more exciting, and people who play GWENT will know what they're talking about. I'm kind of weak with GWENT, especially these decks and what they have, like different strategies. Oh my god. But generally, I don't play card games all that much. I don't know. I never did. I mean, nothing wrong against card games, but I personally just, I don't know. I don't play it. Yeah, they're not going to share stuff like that. So generally, when it comes to Cyberpunk and The Witcher, I know people have been asking about it. I wanted to kind of make a video about The Witcher 3 update and kind of share my concerns and what concerns people have, but at the same time, I'm gonna be waiting for all of these streams to finish before I do a video on that, because I don't know if they had something planned for like the last stream, which is probably not going to be about The Witcher. You're gonna have bigger chances of them talking about 1.6, which is coming out sometimes, you know, so that's a higher chance. But even then, honestly, even on that stream, there might be a situation where we're not going to have actual, like, you know, reveal or release of 1.6. Anything is possible. Bethesda got 16 different person views. Yeah, I mean, Bethesda designs their games in that way. I mean, generally, I play Bethesda's games in first person. I kind of switch sometimes to third person, but I don't know, I find first person in their games more enjoyable. If these leaks are true, that's a big if. But honestly, look, I haven't heard anything about them doing anything in third person. Usually, if there is something, I might hear it, you know, from time to time, if there is something really big happening. But honestly, there was no chatter whatsoever about third person. I mean, it is one of the most requested features, but I don't know. I doubt it. I will see. Until, you know, they reveal stuff and they tell you, we don't know. But the chances of them not doing third-person perspective are much higher than them doing third-person perspective. Just because of how much time would it take, and we don't know how much time are they willing to spend on this. Because, well, they want to move out of Red Engine into Unreal and to make the next Witcher game. Which, again, is not going to be coming anytime soon. I got GWENT for free because I was early entrant. I also got Witcher 1 and Witcher 2 for free when I created GOG account and got GWENT. Ah yeah, they were actually giving out a lot of stuff when GOG was being made, and kind of because they wanted to kind of move people into that. I mean, I don't want GOG to ever disappear or end, because they have DRM-free games, which in this day and age, it's very rare to have like a DRM-free game, you know. So the stream is gonna be on their Twitch, and it's gonna be starting in 20 minutes. And I'm going to switch as soon as they actually start, you know, their stream. Restore the fate of the community. What's your favorite Gwent deck? Mine is Northern Realms. Yeah, I kind of played with Northern Realms the most in The Witcher. But the monster deck was... I don't know how is monster deck right now in this new like standalone Gwent, but in The Witcher 3 was kind of OP. Like you had a bunch of cards which were actually duplicating and calling different cards from the hand or the deck, which basically gave you a lot of power. I always knew I had a big problem fighting people in Gwent who had a monster deck, or at least like the NPCs themselves. Some side quests in Cyberpunk 2077 could be expanded story-wise. Some of them feel like they were cut short. Yeah, I mean, yeah. There was a lot of things that felt like they were cut short in some ends. Honestly, I would have loved if we actually had a lot more time to spend time with Jackie and to kind of get introduction into the game and into this world, which kind of happened, but at the same time, when you're spoiled by a trailer, even before the game comes out, I mean, that kind of just, that was bad. That was really bad. If that wasn't there, and if we didn't know about what happens to Jackie, then maybe it would be even have a bigger impact. But even then, I think majority of people didn't really have enough time to kind of bond with Jackie, and the people who did, it was kind of cut short but yeah, the story was never actually about Jackie. It was always about V and Silverhand and all of that. Witcher 4 game is the Gwent guy. Actually, when it comes to that, I think that was changed. I think Vladimir actually stayed as a game director for Gwent only. I don't know if there was, but there was a switch. I know there was a switch where I said that, and then on Twitter they corrected me because it was like an internal switch. I'm afraid the Cyberpunk expansion will be kinda mid and as short, if not shorter, than Hearts of Stone. The fact that it takes place before the ending is already unsatisfactory for me. So yeah, there was a lot of leaks around that. Honestly, I'm gonna wait for the game to come, for the marketing to start to see like, is that going to be really it? And how big is it going to be? I mean, if this is going to be the last, or well, it is the last expansion for 2077 and the only one, then have a proper send-off pretty much. Yeah, but honestly, like, there has been probably 600 leaks already, like, since the game came out about third-person perspective, and people saying, yeah, it's coming. I think 98% it's not coming, 2% it is. So, I mean, you do with that information what you will. Oh yeah, Deus Ex devs are supposedly making a Cyberpunk-esque game. Aren't they making, like, a new Deus Ex? I mean, what? Isn't they want a new Deus Ex to be like, and to do what Cyberpunk didn't, in a sense? Jason Slama, the current director, was working on Gwent. I see. Yeah, like when it comes to like Gwent devs, I mean, I know some of them obviously, but I don't know like the exact happenings, what's going on in that part of CDPR, just because I'm not really involved in Gwent all that much. Oh yeah, Unreal 5 games. You think good majority of indie games will be based on Unreal 5? Yeah, I mean, they're gonna be based on the engine which is the most accessible. And right now you have Unity, you have pretty much the Unreal Engine 5. And Unreal Engine 5 by itself allows you to kind of make stuff on your own rather than having a big team. So I'm guessing they're gonna be going for the most accessible one, which could be Unreal Engine 5. And it's free, like you can download Unreal Engine 5 right now and start working. Obviously, if you want to start selling the game, then you have other mumbo jumbo you have to deal with Epic, but if you just want to work in it, you can do it. Never played Deus Ex, was it good? Man, that's a great game. Especially the classic Deus Ex, that was a game ahead of its time. But even like Human Revolution and Mankind Divided, especially like Human Revolution, great game, absolutely great game. Like the amount of just different entries you can have in a mission, the story, the characters, Adam Jensen and everyone else, just fantastic. You care for a round of Gwent? I should have played one round of Gwent in The Witcher 3 maybe, or just before that. But it's just difficult to set up with YouTube. I wish YouTube was more open like Twitch when it comes to some things, and their stream still hasn't started. So we'll get around that very soon. But yeah, definitely play Deus Ex. I hope they offer another alternate ending. No, that's not gonna be happening. The ending stays as it is, because for an ending to work and to have any logic, you have to prepare every story for that ending throughout the game, in a sense. Remember a quest about some conspiracy between two companies for a fixer? Just that quest alone could be made into an expansion. When it ended, I was like, that's it. Honestly, I would love if they shared more about Mr. Blue Eyes and all of that, because right now with their changes, I don't even know if Mr. Blue Eyes and everything is gonna be even involved, which is a shame, because that's one of the biggest secrets right now. And there's also a secret in Cyberpunk that no one discovered, is basically in the prologue of the game. And I'm sure there's going to be different like stuff that people are going to find. But it was funny about that last Witcher 3 secret about that, what was that, tapestry, where you basically show that Ciri is alive. I'm gonna be honest, I think I knew about that already, and not like, I didn't pay too much attention to it, but I saw like the tapestry and everything, and kind of assumed, of course, Ciri is going to survive the worst Witcher ending. I mean, it's Ciri after all. It's kind of logical, but I don't know, I didn't know it was actually, I think I have that in one of my previous videos. I recorded it like long time ago, but obviously I wasn't paying attention to it. But Letalis did a great job on the actual secret finding, but he is the boss when it comes to that. In the video on Gwent, I called it Spy Victories. We played all spy cards. Wow, okay. Damn. Yeah, there's a lot of strategies you can take pretty much in Gwent, but yeah, I don't know how to play properly. Yeah, I don't know if it's gonna feature Mr. Blue Eyes, because a lot of things that CDPR wanted, they kind of never did. Was, for example, there was that ARG before the game came out, and this ARG was supposed to be done like before the game comes out, but it wasn't pretty much, and now we still don't know what the final stage of that ARG ever was, but it was a good ARG. Like the marketing campaign for Cyberpunk, like it was crazy. What are your thoughts on the removal of Siege Row from the Witcher 3 Gwent in the Gwent expansion and Thronebreaker and Rogue Mage? I mean, probably didn't work. I don't know, like, again, I'm not a big Gwent player, so I don't know how much it brought back or it hasn't. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it just wasn't working for that. Maybe it was too OP. I don't know. Maybe they just wanted to kind of organize the game so it's a lot more like easy to follow and easy to play. I don't know. Yeah. Man, it's been almost 2 years for Cyberpunk and there is still no expansion announcement. Do you think they will release in 2023 or, well, early 2023? Man, with Cyberpunk and CDPR, you honestly don't know, because they have delayed so many projects so many times. Because I actually went and counted all the times I made a delay video for CDPR, and even The Witcher 3, when I was covering that prior to release, I had like, what, 5 videos of delays. So I don't know, I mean, anything is possible. It's not going to be good if it's delayed again from early 2023, but anything is possible pretty much now. But I think they put that so far away so they wouldn't delay again, which might be the case, but again. Cyberpunk needs a bigger conspiracy plot. Actually, yeah, I mean, if they expand on Mr. Blue Eyes, for me, that's enough. But if they don't, then that's just a wasted opportunity, if you ask me. Hype was through the roof, yeah. Are we getting Dying Light 2 expansion next month? Most likely, I guess. Even that was delayed, right? I have Gwent problem is that most annoying trophy to get, and I had to get it 3 times. Oh, okay, so it was glitched, or? Because I didn't know about that. Okay, 10 minutes until the stream starts. I think CDPR won't be announcing nothing till probably the expansion is really done, so there's no... So they said they're gonna start marketing campaign this year, but that would mean they're gonna release in 2023. But again, their plans might change. They always do. Who's playing Spider-Man on the 12th? I actually was thinking of playing Spider-Man. I might even stream it and I might even review it. Because I already played, I mean, I played Spider-Man already on PlayStation, but I might get it on PC as well. We'll see. But if you guys want me to maybe stream it or make a video on it, for sure I'll do it. Hey LK, I'm enjoying the vids. Thank you so much, Navarro. Thank you so much. Yeah, but generally, I mean, who knows? Like in the future, what's gonna be like? I'm sure they're not going to abandon Cyberpunk as an IP. I mean, 2077. I guess that's pretty much it with the expansion and, you know, the updates are going to release. But for the next Cyberpunk, I mean, they might go first into multiplayer, but maybe in the future we're getting like a full-on standalone single-player Cyberpunk game whenever and wherever that's going to be set. Where is 1.6? You know, still in development, pretty much. I don't know, like, they've been developing that patch for a long time. So it might actually be like the big one. Again, don't expect any huge, insane changes, just a big patch. Because we know transmog is one of the things, but anything else? I mean, I don't want transmog to be the biggest feature in the next patch. Honestly, like, I don't know, if transmog is the biggest feature in the next update, okay. But I don't know, like, we don't know that until they say finally something. They've been really quiet. And of course, whenever CDPR is quiet, you start thinking, okay, is the project good? Are we gonna have problems? What's going on? You know, those sorts of stuff. Yeah. Yeah, but Spider-Man is coming out. What's after that? We have... What's coming up? There's another game coming out. Which game is it? After Spider-Man. We know obviously like Ragnarok is coming, but that's at the end of the year. Hogwarts Legacy, if that's still delayed. On Steam, Cyberpunk was updated 2 times today. Yeah, it was updated. Usually they kind of update, you know, around this time and usually around Fridays. Monovirus Lucy looks cool, can't wait for Edge Runner. Yeah, I'm actually excited about Edge Runners. It's like, looks good. Yeah. Speaking of transmog, the Witcher update is feasible for transmog. I doubt they're gonna be doing that just because, you know, Witcher is done in a different way. So I don't know if they're really gonna be bothering with that. Oh yeah, Saints Row. Exactly, Saints Row. I mean, yeah, God of War is just basically the end of the year, but Saints Row. I was kind of thinking of reviewing Saints Row. I mean, it's not the Saints Row I wanted, but if the game is maybe fun and enjoyable to play, then maybe. But we'll see once that close. Yeah, is Miles Morales coming to PC or is it just the regular Spider-Man? Glitch that made Geralt look like a demon. Where is the live about Cyberpunk 2077? That's gonna be in 2 weeks, pretty much, because that's the last game they released. So, you know, maybe 1.6 is New Game Plus. It would be cool to have New Game Plus for Cyberpunk, but if they're gonna do it, who knows? It would be cool to have it. Coming back to The Witcher 3 after Cyberpunk, can feel it's a much simpler game mechanically. No wonder it was a mess when CP came out. Even if We3 had its share of bugs. Yeah, I mean, obviously, like, Cyberpunk is more complicated than The Witcher. But that's, you know, that's good because they're upping their game. But sometimes upping your game can be problematic, at least on a technical standpoint. Oh, it's gonna have Miles Morales on PC as well. Cool. Cool. Yeah, I mean, when it comes to new Saints Row, I mean, it's still pretty much, you know, different game. Oh, Callisto Protocol. Oh yeah, I'm gonna be playing that. It's made by the guy who made, you know, Dead Space, so of course I'm gonna be playing that. I mean, EA ruined that man. Honestly, EA ruined that man because they shut down his studio, which was basically making Dead Space, and his idea of Dead Space and the idea, you know, EA wanted were totally different. So it sucks, honestly. Let me just switch to this. There we go. I have 2 achievements I can't get in Cyberpunk because I can't have any skill points. Wait, which ones are those? Can't you just... I think there's a way to do it. I mean, people platinum the game. It's not a... Wait. Yeah, RoboCop, rail shooter. I mean, RoboCop looks good, but if it's a rail shooter, I don't know. I'm not too excited about rail shooters in general. Let me just do this. The new Saints Row, yeah, I saw the previews from ACG and the rest of the crew. I saw the previews. Apparently the controller support doesn't work either. Hopefully it does. I mean, it's what? Better they made stream about Cyberpunk. Yeah, that's gonna be the last stream they're gonna be doing in 2 weeks. So the next week is gonna be Thronebreaker, which I think is logical, maybe. I don't think they're gonna be focusing on Cyberpunk next week. So it's gonna be Thronebreaker and then Cyberpunk, and that's it when it comes to their celebration. There was even that event in Poland. The community event. Plague Tale 2, Persona 5, Scorn, Gotham Knights, Modern Warfare, God of War. Oh man, I'm really excited about God of War. I'm gonna be covering that game 100% when it comes out. Like, definitely. I really enjoyed the first God of War. It was great. It was so good. It was so good. Difficult game if you're playing on the hardest difficulty though. Very difficult. But once you get the hang of it, it becomes great. Might also make things more polished if they have not as much gameplay mechanics to worry about. Who knows? But Callisto Protocol is one of those games that I was waiting for a long time because, you know, that guy made Dead Space into what it is, and when his studio got canned by EA, it was bad. It was really bad. That sucked big time. Please sitting she's level 39. I mean, yeah. It would be from like the game perspective. I think it requires 16 body levels and I have 14. Ah, so you reached max. I see. You know, some achievements in Cyberpunk require you to play the game more, or well, to start a new playthrough. Shame it's not on PC at release. Yeah. But eventually it's gonna be, you know, coming for sure. But a bunch of games are going to release that way now. Just how it is. Even GTA, like, I really think that GTA is going to release on consoles first, and then after a year we get it on PC with online. Or wait, did they release... When GTA was released on PC, was it released with online, or was it just released single player and then they added online? Because I don't remember. That was a while back. Will Cyberpunk be on this stream at all? In 2 weeks. That's my guess. The last stream should be Cyberpunk 1. Things are looking a lot quieter than usual. Those bots must be waiting. Yeah. YouTube has a big botting problem, which is terrible. But I did disable you can't post links on the stream, so that helps. Because before that, I was getting insane amount of like bots with various phishing links, which were just basically a virus. Online came a few months later. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it first released on PC with single player and then online. Yeah, man, that online when it released, that was really good. And then they added that stupid vehicle. I actually got back to GT Online with this new update to see how it is, and it's enjoyable because you can do like sales from your businesses in a invite only mode, but still. I joined the PC version of GT Online, and as soon as I joined, I was sniped by a guy like driving a jet, and he wasn't even flying. He was just standing in one place because obviously he has no clip mode on. So Oppressor, yeah, Oppressor was man, that was wild. What's after Gwent? Thronebreaker. Would you like Cyberpunk on VR? Of course I would. I mean, there's some mods which you can make Cyberpunk into VR, but it's still, you know. Online was like the Wild West. Oh, we're starting.
Welcome everyone to today's 20th
We'll talk about it
anniversary
after the stream.
This time we're here for Gwent. It's the Gwent edition, and I'm joined by our game director.
Wait, what's
Vlad?
Okay.
How are you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Hi everyone. It's great to be here for such great occasion.
Oh yes, we're gonna have a lot of fun, and because we're gonna be sitting here and talking all about Gwent, we've actually got a special someone behind the camera as well, piloting our favorite decks and cards. So yeah, thank you, Jean, for joining us and being our game master today. I'll just wave to him. So yeah, Vlad, we're here to celebrate 20 years of CDPR, and obviously Gwent has played a big role for us, especially for us too. And
if you think about it, right, we're celebrating 20th anniversary of CDPR, and out of this 20 years, Gwent is like this last 5 years of the company history, so definitely quite a significant period of time.
Most definitely. I mean, we've been basically as long as The Witcher 3 has been around, we've been around, right?
Pretty much, yeah. That's where it all began, right?
Exactly.
Like, well, maybe we will, talk about the mini game and how it went from there to what we have now, also.
Yeah, I think that might be a good place to start because, 6 years ago, no, it's now 7 years ago. 7 years ago, people sat down and developed a small mini game, maybe not so small, but a nice card game inside of The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, which was called Gwent. Gwent in Polish, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And people seem to enjoy Gwent quite a lot, even though it was a single-player experience playing against AI and everything. But it was just the gameplay mechanic was fun. The idea of winning 2 rounds out of 3 was a lot of fun for players to engage with. And there's been a multitude of memes on the internet around Geralt ditching his main quest and just playing cards.
It was a very meme addition to the game, to The Witcher. And also, if you'll compare Gwent to the previous experiments, the previous mini games in the Witcher series, definitely Gwent was the most advanced one, because it was not only about playing the game, but also the collection element, which is, me as a CCG appreciator, definitely it sounds very familiar when you really want to go after a certain card. You're prepared to go any lengths to beat any opponents to really get this super rare addition to your deck, and I think this feeling was captured really well in The Witcher 3.
That's true, and it always made me chuckle when then someone that's been really down on their luck and really needs your help to, maybe defeat the beasts that are attacking the town that they live in, and then you, as Geralt, just say like, but do you have time for a round of Gwent maybe? So
nods.
I think we all enjoyed that. So out of that, the idea was born to develop a multiplayer version of Gwent, and so even more developers sat down and created something very special. And I think back in the day, Gwent looked a bit different than it does today, because we had to evolve. Everything has to get updated once in a while, and I think we found a way to make it playable on mobile phones as well, which engaged a lot more people into the Gwent world. But what do you think? Where did the whole thing actually take off in the start?
Yeah, well, first stage was obviously the players' reaction, as you said. The mini game in The Witcher 3 turned out to be really popular with players. CDPR received a lot of fan mail asking, okay, we want this standalone, we want this in multiplayer, we want to play against friends, because, well, the minigame was like strictly PvE experience, right, in the game terms. So that's how the project originated. And yeah, what you said is also true, that I think the game looked back then in the closed beta, it's very different from what it looks now, and it went through quite a lot of iterations before we kind of arrived at the current formula of how GWENT, modern GWENT is looks and feels. We lost a row, so instead of 3, we were now with 2 rows, but arguably, like, we also gained quite a lot of depth comparing to these early days, where like a really wacky stuff was possible when it comes to power level of cards and combos that you can do. So yeah, and in this regard, definitely went a long way.
Yeah, and I think right from the start, people were loving the strategic aspect and the amount of choice they had to play the game, because in Gwent, obviously, you start with a full hand, so 10 cards that you can immediately decide on which card do I want to play first, and you don't have to first draw a card every turn. So there was a very competitive scene surrounding the game as well. So I think CDPR decided to support that and started an esports scene. And there was a lot of hype around it.
I think the game is
and
ready.
People were playing at the top of their game, and I always enjoy watching people play so well and so precise and thinking 10 turns ahead as well, while I'm sitting there trying to figure out, all right, what card do I play now? But yeah, I think you actually personally started off in that aspect of the game as well, right?
Truth to be told, some tournaments, official and unofficial ones, were already running by the point I joined the company. But yes, there was a conscious decision on CDPR side that we want officially to support, to give more attention to this fledgling competitive scene. That's how I came on board as an esports manager initially, and I helped with organizing this really memorable events in very interesting locations also, to fully embrace the Gwent and Witcher flavor. Like, you know, medieval castles and underground salt mines and Vikings villages.
Oh, yes.
So that was really special journey on its own. And yeah, you're absolutely right. I think the competitive Gwent is when the game becomes really, you know, it really shines in terms of like how competitive players are seeing things. You know, us mere mortals are not able to comprehend, and this is a completely different level of play. Speaking of which, what do you think about, you know, jumping to the game to see how it looks like?
Yeah, I'm ready for that. I've got 2 more things that people out there should know right now. And the first one is that you will actually be able to get a very nice Rarok avatar just by watching 15 minutes. So 15 minutes of your time enjoying us chatting about Gwent and watching some fabulous gameplay by
You're gonna get people
Jean.
away from my stream.
So yeah, you will get that. You can actually see in the top right corner, if you're watching on Twitch, the little notification on that. So I hope you've connected your Twitch accounts to your Gwent accounts, your GOG accounts, and then you'll be able to rock that 20th anniversary Rarok avatar in Gwent. And the second announcement, you all should probably start typing away in the chat, because we've got a dedicated team that reads the chat today and that will filter it for some questions, and then I, sitting here in this lovely chair, will be able to read the questions, and then after maybe a game or 2, then we can also discuss your questions out there if you've got any questions about the history of Gwent, about the current state of Gwent, about why Jean decided to go for the border and avatar combo that he did. So yeah, there's lots to be asked, and at the end, I think we've got a small little surprise for you as well. So why don't you stick around, grab a cup of coffee, tea, beverage of your choice.
Mahakam ale,
and enjoy a round of Gwent. So I think we're ready to jump into the first one. Jean's already searching for an opponent, as we can see here, and he's rocking the standard.
Only worthy rivals in this game.
True.
I really like this small details, and also, you know, one of my favorite things about Gwent, which immediately kind of attracted my attention back in the day when I just discovered it, is that when you're already finished playing your game, the GG button, right? This is a really nice touch. So for those who don't know, the GG button basically allows you to send GG message to your opponent if you enjoyed your game, and your opponent will get some resources, which then can be used to craft the cards or to do something within the game. And I remember first time seeing it, I thought, wow, this is really smart, and it actually promotes this good manners behavior, which is so important in the live games, so important in online games. So years passed, and this button is still in its place. And I know, sometimes people can get really salty. There are some Reddit threads in which case it's ethical or not ethical to give GG, right? I will never GG this certain deck because it's just toxic or something like that. But nevertheless, it's actually really cool to have this
each other
have this feature in the game.
That's true. I think I usually just go ahead and GG everyone. It's just like a no-brainer for me, even though I might
sharing
be
is
annoying,
caring.
but it's like I don't lose anything for doing it, and they gain something. So, why shouldn't I? Why shouldn't I? I actually have one question already before we jump into the game, because the first question that we got was, Vlad, are you really a vampire? Because just to make it a bit clearer, I think you're not a vampire on Twitter, is that correct?
Right.
So
what?
Are you?
Well, it would be a shame, to spoil all the fun for people to discover. But actually, do you know where this phrase is coming from?
I don't.
Okay, so this the phrase about not being a vampire while being having a name Vlad comes from the game called Magica. There is a very charismatic character in this game, the name of Vlad, who is definitely not a vampire, and there is a lot of kind of jokes around this particular topic. So this is where it comes from. So is the inspiration.
Is that the Impaler? Vlad the Impaler?
I don't know.
Right, but John did find a match. He did find a worthy opponent, and it took him a while because obviously it's hard to find a worthy opponent for
such a high skilled player.
Exactly.
Yes.
He's gonna hate us, by the way, if we keep talking him up.
It must be a bit of a pressure to play, live on stream for that many viewers. So
that's AI.
Yeah, I'm sure Ron will do fine.
He's got it.
What possibly can go wrong?
Exactly.
Especially in the training versus player mode, which is is famous for being great in terms of the accurate matchmaking.
Yep.
Oh, and it seems like we have a male player against us. That's an exciting start. What do you think about Mill as a strategy, Ryan?
I think it's a really interesting strategy because I actually like playing against it because I feel like I know what they want to do, and it suddenly changes what I want to do in my game. But it's not like, guess I just lose. It's more like, okay, how do I most effectively play around my opponent trying to destroy my deck before I get to it? So maybe usually I'm playing some decks like, I don't know, Skellige Pirates, for example, where you just have a lot of pressure in the first round and I want to win the first round and then just 2-0, 2-0 straight away. Don't even give them a chance for another draw in round 3. But I understand that it might be frustrating sometimes to play against it. I think in general playing against Control and these kind of matchups sometimes hurts as a card gamer. But no, I kind of like it existing, maybe not at the top level of competition.
Well, I don't think anyone would want the competitive Mill, to be honest, apart maybe from a very small. Oh,
look at that!
So nicely done, really nicely done. I think the
alternative win con.
Maybe the opponent just realized the wrongness of his way, or the way, and just decided, okay, not today, devil, not today.
Well, Jean got his first victory on the board.
That's a nice start.
He had a very solid line of play there at the start, intimidating the opponent. So we'll see who is up next.
People are probably matchmaking right now.
Maybe
just
he'll
so
find a worthy rival. In the meantime, I've actually got another question coming up by Mlakus, one of our moderators as well, I believe from Reddit. And he asks about draft. Do we have any news about draft mode?
Well, with draft, what we would like to do is, obviously it's a bit outdated at this point. We didn't add all the newest card additions to the mode yet, and there are also a few problematic, like outdated interactions in terms of the packages. So yeah, we are well aware of the issues with this mode. We don't want to, put it in a freezer and abandon it, but fixing or addressing these issues proved to be very complicated, actually, in terms of like how it's structured from the internal operation perspective. That's why instead of spending some serious amount of time on constantly updating it, and that would inevitably lead us to spending less time in other areas where the attention is much needed. We decided that it's actually worth to invest more into reworking some of the core concepts of it, and more importantly the tools which are used to keep it updated. So in this perspective, I can only ask for a little bit more patience when it comes to draft. We remember about it. We do not want to completely abandon it, but it proved to be a bit more challenging and time-consuming task for us to address.
Yeah.
But if I may add also, like having a limited mode, right? Like the mode within the game which provides a different experience comparing to constructed decks is very interesting, and I think very healthy for the variety if it's done right. Not everything went according to the plan with the current iteration of draft, so definitely there is a big interest on our side to have this kind of side of the game covered eventually.
Yeah, we haven't forgot about it, and we are working on it behind the scenes, as Vlad said. So I think what shows that we are trying to always stay up to date with our game modes is that our seasonal modes have been adapted, have been changed.
Recently, yeah.
Exactly. First of all, we went down to a shorter time format, so there's more diversion in there, diversity. But also now we started to experiment a bit more and go for some fresh versions of those game modes.
Yes.
Right?
What we do with seasonals these days is that we actually adding new seasonal modes while also taking care of the modes which are no longer relevant for various reasons. Maybe in some cases it's also too complicated trying to fix it. Sometimes it's better just to remove the mode which is was solved by players a long time ago or simply not working in the current meta.
So yeah, spoiler alert, but this week's version or edition of +1, the famous Idaran game mode. It is actually going to be the last time that you will be able to play it. So if you
enjoy it, this is your last moment. If you hate it, your prayers were answered, and it's going to be removed.
I'll answer all the questions
for the time being.
Yeah, and we've got another new version coming later this month as well. Order in all things, I think it's called, right?
Yeah.
Where your deck is sorted by its provision. Which is going to be interesting because you can be sure that you're going to find those high-end provisions, and those 4 provision bronzes, you won't be drawing into them.
Yep.
Yeah, all right. So we can see that Jean is in the middle of poisoning his opponents. Morale, actually a very nice card as well.
There are some poisons on both sides of the board, from what I can tell.
It's a harmony mirror.
Yeah.
I just see,
Very harmonious indeed.
Very harmonious, just like the GWENT player base. Oh, and there we see the reworked Willow. Nice. And the Chameleon. I really enjoy the new Chameleon, I must say. Yeah, lots of nice touches given to
Chameleon
harmony.
is one of my favorite premiums, and with animations in the last card drop, in the last expansion for sure.
Yeah, and we can see that they've also got, or we can hear it, that the latest edition of cards now have their premium sound effect added as well.
Yeah, finally.
So that is very nice.
I'm trying
Thanks
to fix
everyone
it.
for being patient with us on this. Right now it feels good to bring it back where it belongs.
I've actually got another question.
Yes, shoot.
From the chat, and it's by Lauren Breaker. Will there be some support for devotion in Gwent? So, before you go ahead and answer
Like
that,
more support for devotion.
yeah,
Right?
I think there was a good discussion by Jean with the community as well, going over our thoughts on devotion and the devotion mechanic and why it is good in some areas, but also
You
maybe
mean the
limiting.
article, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, what are your thoughts on it?
Well, I think devotion is a tool, right? It's kind of interesting question if it's archetype on itself or it's more of a designer's tool in the toolbox to balance the game and help different archetypes. So maybe there are different views on that. I believe that there are certain moments where devotion decks are just being elevated in the meta and they're just thriving and feeling
I cannot fix it
better
now. I'll
overall.
try.
And there are also moments where they're coming out of fashion,
Yeah.
maybe because of the strong neutrals being introduced, which is proved to be a bit problematic this year. I'm not going to lie. So we definitely making notes about the problems which might happen if the neutral card we introduce to the game is definitely behind, not behind, above the curve.
Yeah.
So in this regard, I can tell you already, I think maybe it was already mentioned by Jean on the last dev video, that we are not planning to go hard on adding more and more neutrals to the game, especially with high power level.
Yeah.
So in this regard, you can treat this as a devotion support, because if we're more focused on the faction identities and cards which are belonging to one faction or another, it will be boosting the devotion archetype as well.
Yeah, I think players might be saying as well, like, why didn't CDPR learn about their previous neutral card that was so good and then went on to print rent-free? But I think people working with any kind of bigger scale product know that it takes time to plan these things.
Yeah.
And we've
Some
had this
things
scheduled.
are planned way ahead.
Exactly.
Right.
But
That's-
obviously still our game designers and people working on these cards, they learn from what they do, and there's always a review process afterwards as well. And as you said, there's not going to be any crazy neutral cards coming, at least soon.
We'll be careful
We'll be
with
careful.
releasing those. Yes.
There won't be a camera, I'm sorry.
I like crazy cards in the sense that when
I'll just
the
do it
new
this way.
card is being released and it's
I don't know.
not because wow, oh my god, it's broken.
It's 50 points.
What
No.
did they smoke, right? It's more about like, oh wow, this is so clever or so original
Yes.
or so out of this world. That's what we're usually aiming for. And when you have ambitions like that or targets like that, it's not always easy to fit into this very narrow space of it's super cool and interesting, but it's not oppressive or it's not overpowered.
Exactly. All right, I think on that topic, that's actually very interesting. A question by Exoskeleton. Skeleton.
Oh my god.
Exoskeleton.
Exoskeleton, okay.
Are there any cards you regret creating?
Well, I guess when the question is asked this way, it will be more of a question
Screw
for
it.
designers,
Just
because
screw it.
I do not
Just screw it.
create cards
Just screw
personally,
it.
right?
Yeah.
I
Just
can
screw
only
it, man.
regret that someone
I'm
else
sorry, there
created
won't be a
the
camera.
card. Let me think about it for a moment, because I don't think there is a single card in the whole Gwent which I dislike so much that I would like to see it's gone. I believe that. Well, I remember. Okay, I can give you maybe one example. It's not exactly about the regret. I remember when this card was released, I was kind of opposed to it being added to Gwent. And it's what's interesting. It's still unchanged over all these years. It's original Gascon, right? So the one which just have this random
Yes.
power at start, right? So with Homecoming and with Stormbreaker, we added a bunch of new cards, and also Create as a mechanic was also added to the game slightly before that. I remember it was a very controversial time, like in the period of Gwent, where people were questioning like what's the kind of the general direction the game is taking, etc. So I remember with quite a lot of kind of a criticism around also Gascon to some degree, because like this is clearly a random effect, right?
Yeah.
So maybe because the card is not really competitive, it's like too unreliable to be played. It's not getting any attention these days, but you know, personally, I think that such a great character as Gascon deserves something more interesting. Maybe one day we will, you know, get to it, and
Yeah,
he will be a little bit more interesting in this regard.
I think that's a good answer. Yeah, I think that's a very good answer. And
Does it work
I
now?
agree that Gascon lives in our hearts. And,
Should work now.
I think very, very popular character
For
lots of players.
Thronebreaker, you know, players, clearly there's some special feelings towards Gascon, you know, bad or good, but it leaves the memory.
Exactly. I think for me it wouldn't be the creation of a card itself, but more the existence of Bomb Heaver back in the day, because
Right.
the watch your head has been heard many times, and especially seeing these beautiful scenarios on the board right
Yeah.
now here, I think
It would
that
be a
is
shame if something bad would happen to them.
exactly
Yeah,
like a Bomb Heaver, Heatwave. No, Heatwave is a bit. I think it's fine because it obviously is a trade of very expensive cards,
Yeah.
and you get some
Makes you
value
to
out of playing
commit.
it.
Yeah.
Exactly, but the Bomb Heaver one was it was rough.
Yeah.
But you know, you learn, you move on, and you progress.
Well, that's the beauty of it. I think when it comes to Gwent and you know, ever-changing meta, the thing is that players might be unhappy about the cards in a given moment of time, but what I hope, proved time and time again, that we listen and we are willing to go back and rework stuff, tweak stuff,
Yeah.
change cards which are problematic, change the whole archetypes if needed, rework tribals or archetypes or leader abilities. So there isn't basically no limit of how far we were willing to go in order to make the game better. And it doesn't go anywhere, right? Like, we're still committed to do that going further. So I
thanks,
do hope
Windman.
that at least, you know, some part of the community appreciates that.
We've got some well wishes by Vorpin. It's just Vlad and Brian. No question, just wishing you all the
Aw.
best for this glorious stream
Thank
and
you.
this glorious day. So thank you very much for everyone watching and supporting us. I think we had a nice community celebration on Saturday
yeah.
as well, which was incredible. Just meeting so many people, and we got a draw. We got a draw.
And we got the achievement unlocked. How cool is that?
Wow, 127 points on both sides.
Perfectly balanced, what can I say?
I think it was a, what did they say? An actual worthy opponent.
Yes, very worthy.
But yeah,
Nice.
going back, thank you so much for joining us on this journey. I think it is just so much fuel to our passion for the game and to our work, because this is, after all, also our work, but it
Yeah.
makes it feel so easy and so driving. At least for me personally, I think it's what drives me to do this job and to engage with more people in the world. I've got another question for you.
Yes.
Do we plan to release new journeys in the future? And there was actually another question by Elven Princess. Will we get more Rara cosmetics in the future, like a journey, for example?
Like the one avatar which we're giving away during the stream.
Exactly.
Okay, I don't know much about Rarok cosmetics. I don't think we have anything, you know, planned for the near future, but then the question is, who knows?
Who
Right?
knows?
Well, we can have many ways to get more Raroks into the game. When it comes to new journey, we do have some ideas. What we're lacking is, you know, any kind of a concrete plans on like when those would be possible to add to the game or to implement. But I can tell you as much as that our artist, our art team, they already did some early explorations of the idea. Those are looking super cool.
That's
but
true.
Everyone who works also in the development knows that there is a very long road between, you know, sketching stuff and doing such R&D and actually implementing. So yeah, I am not able to give you any data here or any kind of intel on when and what. But we want to, if possible, if that will be possible, we want to have more original journeys. That would be cool.
Yes, and speaking of journeys and looking awesome, I think our opponent is rocking an awesome skin.
Oh yeah.
And that card back is just beautiful.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, are they also trying to mill us here? Or is it just a nice little tech to maybe destroy a powerful card?
I have no idea what's going on this
We'll
deck.
see. It's not a full-on commit yet to the mill, so we'll see. And Jean decided to rock the Gracious Knights, so I'm interested to see who will prevail, who will be victorious after that. All right, we've got another question. Is there a chance that old mechanics like bandits would be reworked by Anne the Bear?
So I don't know if you noticed already, but bandits are somehow getting a little bit more prominence in the current meta, and what the only thing it took is for designers to go back and assign like this secondary categories to many Scoia'tael, and not only Scoia'tael, but I think mostly cards. So all of a sudden, like this might look like a small thing to do because we didn't actually change any cards in particular when it comes to gameplay, but this alone was already enough to bring some attention. So bandits enthusiasts immediately started brewing, and they started to experimenting with deck ideas. So that's actually very cool to see. I think in the upcoming updates in the foreseeable future, we might spend some time looking at the bandits archetype as a whole. I don't know about turning it into the completely kind of a neutral archetype. There are some reservations against that, but it would be cool if there would be kind of a distinctive tribal theme for bandits as well.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Going back to the cosmetics, by the way, do you have a plan to allow players to maybe define a default set of cosmetics that they can use on the new presets, basically?
We have it somewhere in our backlog, so yeah, you can say that we do have such plans. Once again, not sure what the timing could be, but this idea was shared or requested by the community a long time ago, so it's definitely on our radar as something that's interesting for people and for us as well.
Yeah, I'm sure that I've heard Ola say that actually pretty recently as well, that they would love to have it implemented into the game. It's all about priorities when you're developing
as always.
such a game. But yeah, we're definitely aware, and I think we all would like to see that in the game as well. So
true. Good question.
Good question. Yeah, we've actually got another question coming in from from Durant27, and they're asking, will we see more use of the adrenaline tag as a way to control card power? Will we see any more adrenaline cards?
Could be, right? We were not shutting down on using of any of the old mechanics. Although there is always a consideration, does it make sense with any particular either new card drop or a rework? So the fact that a keyword or mechanic existing in the game is not enough to justify that it's definitely needs to be used extensively, because sometimes the keywords and abilities are also our way to draw the boundaries between factions and their identities. We don't want them to blur too much. So like maybe adrenaline is a great way to balance the power of the card, but I don't know if you would agree that having every second card having adrenaline would be very disruptive to your kind of impression of what GWENT is, right? So sure, just in the small numbers, and then like like based on the deliberate decisions, it is possible.
All right. On a lighter note, are you team Triss, Ian, Shani, or Uma?
There is such team as well.
I've heard that there's a team Uma. Also asking for an Uma journey. I think I created a mock-up once.
So that's what this team is about. Okay, for Uma journey. Well, I mean, I'm team Yen, because you know, for me, The Witcher 3 is all about role playing. That's why you know, when I was playing Witcher 3, I was very serious about not breaking my image of Geralt with any, you know, silliness or any, you know, shenanigans. So, for example, I never robbed houses because why Geralt would do that, right? You're not just going into anybody's house and starting to you know, look for. That's true. Did you also do it, or you just agree with me being
No, I
noble?
agree with you, but I also agree that it's insanely funny to be requested of like by a very small family that don't have much, and they say thank you so much for saving our
And
lives.
then they have a golden ring in the chest. Yeah,
This is all we have, and then you're like, no, keep the money, and then you go around and just empty everything they have.
So, you know, following the same logic, well, for everyone who played Witcher 3, I think it's, and also, you know, read the books and kind of, you know, following the lore, it's obvious that despite maybe not being the most easygoing person in the world, let me put it this way, Yen is, you know, is Geralt destiny. You may like it or not, this is just facts.
That is just facts.
Yeah.
You've heard it here.
Yeah.
I'll just confirm it.
True.
All right. Actually, I'm very interested to see how this game is going to turn out, because Jean is pushing round 2 like a mad person right here. And he forces out the scenario
Played
by his opponent, which is very big. Oh, it was the leader that grabbed that scenario from himself,
idea
actually.
what just
But
happened.
still, he is 1 point ahead, so he could just pass here and actually move on to round 3, having the leader ability advantage.
Well, is it a hint or?
I mean, I'm just
Imagine
commentating right here.
if during the esports events that we you know, used to have in this studio, the casters would be. If players would be able to hear the casters, he would be like, this is a good idea to pass now.
Yes. I'm not sure if that's always the right idea, though, to listen to casters and
Well,
people commentating, because
I can confirm our casters were wrong more than once on different occasions, but so is, you know, our team that is usually
Exactly.
working on these events. When we are during the tournaments, we were trying to figure out, okay, so this guy clearly going to win this. No, and like, you know, a couple of minutes later,
the sentiment
it's-
swings.
Yeah, definitely the other one. Like, it's clear, right? And it could be, very swingy this way.
Yeah, to be honest, I didn't want to bash our casters. I think they're doing a fantastic job,
Yeah.
and it's very difficult to keep track of everything that's going
Hey,
on
Miss
the
Bubbles,
board.
what's up?
Well, since we introduced the
Observer mode?
the observer mode, but also you know, I think back in the era of Mogwai and
Oh, yes.
Beard and closed beta, remember, you know, counting neckers was a kind of a very hard test.
Yes.
Like if you can be a good caster or not, because without trackers, without the chance to check like the graveyard, even,
Yep.
I think there was. It required like you know, fantastic memory. So fortunately,
definitely.
these days it's much easier, especially in the spectator mode.
Yeah.
But yeah, fun
Yeah.
times.
So in the final round now, Jean is up 2 cards, having a ball of a time right here,
Literal abilities.
but he might be able to just throw it away by
Ooh.
playing a card in the melee row.
Well,
It's supposed to go into the back row, unless
all according to the plan. I feel.
unless he's got some hidden plans that I haven't
Yeah,
figured
yeah.
out yet.
Don't question his logic.
Fun match, though.
Don't
He
question
is
brilliant.
knows, he knows what he's doing.
Oh yeah, he definitely knows what he's doing here. Just getting locked by that margarita, which
So
he knew.
good to see that, you know, despite the nerf, a good boy is still being used evidently by the opponent.
Yeah, I think that nerf was deserved. Still a good card.
Well, I'm doing
Still a
great.
good
How are
card.
you? Just streaming a little bit.
Oh, what's it gonna be? What's it gonna be, Jean? Is that? Oh, there's Renfrey.
Oh, that's
Still alive
That's
after the
one
nerf.
way to kind of.
I wonder what
Have
they
a
grabbed.
statement.
Oh, that's a lot of damage. That is a lot of points.
Well, I believe
20
there was
points.
something
22 points, Jean.
to do with that still. You know, with 2 cards, it's not impossible.
It's not impossible, but those cards look mighty bronze.
There's still literal ability.
There is.
going
it's
on
gonna be a
now?
close one. It's gonna be a close one. The
And
leader ability clutches victory.
calculated, man.
Woo!
Never doubt the designer.
Ne-
That's the rule I follow, and most of the
Damn.
50% of the time it works all the time. So
50.
yeah, good job,
GG.
really. Nicely done.
Oh, thanks for
GG.
stopping
I like how
by.
close this
Thanks
games
for stopping
in
by.
the versus
Also, check out her
player,
channel if you haven't already. If you're
training.
into
Right.
Yeah.
cozy
Yeah.
games.
Definitely. Well, I think we can grab another question from the chat here.
Let's do it.
Thanks
We've
for
got
coming.
one asking, how long do you test cards before releasing them? That's a very interesting question because I feel like the general public probably has rather little visibility
Right.
on the actual development process of cards, and obviously it starts a while back before the cards are released, with designers and our team sitting
Yeah.
down together, creating a draft for what the release should be all about, the theme of the cards, and the ability and the art obviously have to go hand in hand, where you can't really have this bear here, for example, that then just, I don't know, is an artifact that heals someone by one. That would be kind
Great
of
example.
weird. So.
Right, so there's no kind of golden standard there when it comes to we always have the same amount of time for like every occasion. In reality, actually a different time period depending on the scope of the new release as well. So we tend to leave more time whenever possible to test bigger or more impactful updates and
Okay.
drops, like for example definitely expansions, new mechanics, a lot of reworks. Like usually these things require more tests, and it's
Yep.
also important to note that like what exactly is a test, right? Like as you said, when the cards are being designed already, like some let's call it theory crafting or brainstorming on the designer's part is happening. So even before the ability is locked, there's already like a lot of well, you could call it testing, I guess, happening behind the scenes. Once it's finally implemented in the build, and then we can play some games with it, that's where the active stage of the testing starts, in which not only designers can play, but also we can invite some trusted members of the community, other CDPR or GWENT employees to the mix, and this process can last based on how much time we have for, in some cases for a few weeks, but sometimes we have less. So yeah, the answer is that it can be different.
Yeah, so it really depends.
Well, maybe I kind of sense that maybe it's a little bit of a trick question, because the truth is, like, no matter how much time we have or how thorough we are with this testing, it's always the reality that always the community with the really huge number of players
Yep.
that are playing GWENT, they will have an upper hand when it comes to discovering all possible problems with it,
Yes.
all possible interactions. Some things are just wrong expectations on our end regarding the how let's say popular a certain card will be. Is it going to be used everywhere or the other way around? So a lot of these things are just assumptions on our end, which are impossible to verify in this limited time and with this limited
Yeah, it's most likely GWENT.
number of people participating.
As you said, I think the data created by just one day of it being out in the public is just so much more.
Unfortunately, this is the hard truth that yes, like whenever the card or new, I don't know, ability, whatever, is on live, like as you said, like a couple of days of just observing it gives us already more than maybe like a few days of testing would, which is sometimes, I understand, might create problems, especially from players' perspective. But once again, we are committed to this monthly updates, and I believe that this is a strong side of our team and our approach to the development, that nothing is permanent when it comes to problems as well,
Yeah.
right?
All right, we've got one question
I'll answer
by
all of the chat
someone
questions
new
after
to
this,
the
don't
Witcher
worry.
universe. Mr.
Welcome.
Macaroony, nice name as well, very
Yeah,
nice name.
yeah.
Hello everyone, I'm new to the Witcher universe. I have a question about the game board itself. In The Witcher, the player has 3 rows in
Yeah.
which he can place his cards, and in Gwent only 2. Why is that the case, Vlad?
That great question. So when the original version of Gwent in the closed beta was released, it followed many concepts from the minigame, right? So the idea was to try to be, as faithful as possible to the source where it all began. But unfortunately, with time, we realized that it puts quite a significant limits to the direction we would like to take the game with its availability on multiple platforms. I think, as far as PC is concerned, maybe 3 rows still would be something possible to support, although it would be a very different game in terms of the gameplay, in terms of like the gameplay implications. However, it's almost impossible, and believe me, we tried to imagine 3 rows being playable, readable on a phone screen, even on a tablet screen. So pretty much everything which is smaller than your standard monitor size would be extremely problematic.
Yes.
I see.
And
Makes
well,
sense.
maybe it's less important from the usability perspective, but very important from the presentation perspective. The size of the cards itself in the closed beta, and I think to some degree in the mini game in The Witcher 3, due to having 3 rows, which is essentially 6 rows in total, was very small, right?
Yeah.
So one of the biggest advantages that Gwent has as a competitive product on the market is a gorgeous art style and
Yes.
all this nice animations, all these nice static illustrations which are featured on cards. It was barely visible, right? You need to click on an individual card to
Yeah.
see the full preview, so
Yeah.
it was a bit clunky. So 2 rows are, I would say, a reasonable compromise on our part, which I believe we made work without losing anything of substance or any kind of a major impact in the negative side of things for the game being deep and interesting.
Yeah, and I think on top of that, as you said, there's just a limited amount of space on the screen, and having your hand, your card hand, and your opponent's hand, I think especially in the esports scene,
Yes.
like when you have tournaments and you have to see both player hands and have immediately visual cues of when you look at the screen, oh, this is the board state, this is the card that's on the board, and you don't really want to wait for the casters to say the cards, you want to be able to see them yourself. So I think that helps a lot, having less.
Sometimes, it's maybe kind of overused argument, but sometimes less is more. And I think even some of our competitors' examples are proving the fact that when you are really going too wide, like having multiple battlefields per session, right, or having something like that, it might be a brilliant idea in theory, but sometimes the implementation is what gets in the way, and it's not always user friendly.
Yeah. And I think Jean is also thinking right now less is more, because he's currently sitting here with less points than his opponent.
Oh, maybe it's a bluff strategy,
Yeah,
it's
you never know.
totally valid in Gwent.
And that's a good thing in Gwent. You only need to win 2 out of 3 rounds.
Yes.
So yeah, right now he's making his opponent, commit good cards on the board, and then.
Hey, Sokka, thanks for
we've got
coming.
I would say
Nailman.
even
Yeah.
differently. You only need to win 1 round if you only care about progressing in your journey. So
Yep.
you can get like realistic goals in front of you all the time.
Yep, but I think it's also, I've played against that syndicate list, and those poison engines, they
They're
do
scary.
scare you. And that Siri on the board as well, creating carryover for the next round. So many coins still.
But I mean, we have a carryover of our own there.
We do. And that's, I think, going to be very important to keep alive. Let's see what Jean commits here.
Okay, Jean.
Oh, he's hovering it. He is thinking about it.
Yeah.
He is thinking about it. There he goes. That's a nice boost. And then he's gonna go ahead and destroy the poison mover in
I
the front
see.
row.
So that's how
Ahead
it
by
works.
3 points now. Opponent is not letting go of the pressure though. It's gonna be a tight one.
As the previous games.
Yeah, most definitely. Then again, opponent has already used their lead ability, so Jean might have an upper hand on that side. Yeah. Obviously the passive is still ongoing of the Horde. Let's see. While we watch this game unfold, we've actually got a great question by Amsterdam Oyerfeldi. I wonder if that's the original Oyerfeldi or if it's a special edition that you can only get at TwitchCon Amsterdam. What is your favorite moment in Gwent history? Very simple question.
My favorite moment in Gwent history. I don't know. I feel like my favorite moment will be, too selfish because it was, reaching pro rank for the first time. That was kind of like individual achievement, doesn't have to do anything with, the history of the game, or
That's fair.
definitely not important. But I remember it was like, okay, I made it. That was a great feeling. But if we need to talk about, something less personal and maybe, something important for Gwent, I would say maybe Android launch. That was the moment where this was basically the last platform. Well, technically Steam was a little bit after that. I think Android was like in March 2020 and Steam was like in May or something like that. But that was a really successful and big launch, and I remember being quite proud of what the team achieved with that, all the hard work that you can see finally, paying off and all that. It was a high moment.
Yeah, and I think just getting more people to enjoy the game was incredibly valuable. Increasing the audience and the community, and I think for me personally, it's just meeting community members face to face as well is, I think, always my highlight. Probably the worst moment was when I tried to reach pro rank back in the day, when it was like, I think it was just before homecoming, when there were the dwarves were so good. I was still at university, and I basically streamed the whole night, the whole evening, just to get, maybe it wasn't pro rank, but top 500 or something for the nice avatar that you could get back in the day. And I really wanted to get that top 500 spot. And I remember it being very competitive. There was such good players on the ladder, still are most definitely. And I didn't make it at that point, so I was like, all right, this, like, I played until the end time of that season, so I was like 1 win away, and I couldn't queue up again because season ended, and I was so mad about it, and I said, all right, next season I'm gonna do it a lot earlier, so I have more time to do it, and I'm not gonna rush right on the last evening. And so I absolutely didn't do that. I didn't take my own advice.
Classic.
And the next season, I
exactly the same situation happened.
Very similar, but instead of doing it in the evening at home, I actually went earlier to university and was sitting like at university playing Gwent in the morning. I think the time where the season ended was also something like 10 a.m. or so. So at like 7 or so, I started jamming a few more games. I was like, I just need one more, and then I lost one, I won one, I lost one, I won one, and I just missed it by like one victory. And those 2 months in a row just broke my heart.
So close and yet so far away. Yeah,
Yes.
I think everybody who played Gwent knows this feeling really well.
Yeah, for sure.
It's part of the fun, though.
It is. It's part of the game, and it what made me hunger for it even more, it increased my appetite.
He lost.
I can't believe it.
Is
It looks like we might not win this one.
Unless
Okay.
unless
Scratch
he
that
just
one.
comes in.
Yeah.
That was close. I wonder what we have left for the final round here. That squirrel is not looking like many points, so yeah, he's gonna get rid of it. It's a very bronze-looking deck, if you may ask me.
That's what happens now.
But at least the assault will give some nice boost.
Yeah, could be worse.
Yeah.
Could always be worse.
I like the name of the opponent in this game, Bear in Despair.
Yeah. And
Accomplished Drinker also, like this is
nice
this is my favorite title, and also I used to have this border with this mug of ale from the Mahakam event and closed beta for a really long time. I'm using a different one, but this one is like, you know, forever in my heart.
So let's just say the opponent playing 3 cards in one turn, as many as Jean has in one turn, might be a problem.
What is going on?
Yeah,
might be a problem.
Will be the case here.
Let's see. Well, obviously, it's also very kind, you know, by Jean to give the audience the opportunity to witness both victories and losses.
Well,
you know, if you're new to the game, this is how it looks like. If you're behind,
we need to give a little bit encouragement to the players. So.
And I mean, the bear is in despair, and maybe this helps out.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe he will, you know, rename himself after this one.
Bear in slightly less despair.
Yeah, or just Happy Bear. Yeah.
Happy Bear.
I think Jean is panicking.
We'll see. We've got another question, by the way, on favorite moments, but this time regarding the esports scene of GWENT. And
I was waiting for this.
There's a lot of those. There's a lot of good moments, and let me take a guess. Is the Fireball discarding cards to play around Kelly up there for you?
That's definitely one of the highlights. But the question is like exactly the kind of like you know, competitive place or just anything related to esports?
I think it just says, what is your favorite GWENT esports moment of all time?
Oh, okay.
By Tankov.
So this is easy. Like my favorite moment is when we lost the electricity in the studio.
Oh no!
That's my favorite one, because it was back in the day when we run opens here in this very studio where we're sitting now, and the way, you know, things are set up there is that there are kind of like separate circuits for stream and players' PCs and everything else, right? So including the lighting, including the I don't know, air conditioning, whatever. So this is, you know, actually very smart, and this is a way to avoid exactly this situation. So we are in the middle of the event. I don't remember which 2 players were playing. You know, some veterans from closed beta times. They were sitting at the table playing against each other, and we have these lights everywhere, as always, during the event. And all of a sudden, boom, it just goes dark. So everything goes dark except their PCs, because it's a separate circuit. So like, you know, they're playing offline build, which not affected by the internet. So it's all cool and everything. And we have this panic in the director's room, like, what's going on? What to do? What just happened? Why the lights went off and all that? And players, I don't know if they noticed. They didn't indicate, you know, in any way that they actually, you know, paid attention that the light went out. They were, you know, the tunnel vision from you know, Life Coach and era. So that was kind of the same mode that these 2 players were playing in. So yeah, it was really cool to see it. So fortunately, no disruption was given. We restored the electricity, and you know, to this day, I don't know if players noticed or not.
That's a good moment. That's a good moment. I think for me, besides just being able to meet people for the first time at the GWENT Challenger, that was actually done with an audience in the studio here. I was doing some behind the scenes recording and interviews.
I remember that.
That was so much fun, just meeting people and seeing their passion for the game, and just chatting to the community members face to face. That's always what I love. But also, I think, I lost the moment. I just had it.
You know, you being on this event, interviewing, etc.
That was one of them.
Ah, okay. So there was another one.
I'll come back to it eventually.
I'll come back to it eventually. I just forget stuff.
Yeah, sometimes it just, you know, leaves your mind.
Yeah. Will return.
All right. There's a question by Art Vandelay, 1807. Why is Dagon the coolest character? And how much do you look forward to him finally coming back?
So why he's the coolest? Well, because he's a sea god, right?
And the sea is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's why. And the second one, like, am I looking forward to...
How much?
How much?
Are you looking forward to him finally coming back? At least a 3.
I would say on a Dagon scale.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah?
You know, like Dagonic scale of wanting him
Okay.
back into the game.
Dagon out of 10.
Yeah, Dagon out of 10, exactly. Do you know the fun fact that Dagon is being used as a kind of a placeholder whenever, you know, something breaks within the game and the proper card art can be displayed, you can still get Dagon in GWENT, so like technically it's there already, you just need to wait till something is broken and
I think that's how...
it never left, guys. That's the point.
I think that's how one of the PTR testers actually got debated, and they thought Dagon was coming back, and it was just card art being wrong or not working, so it was Dagon.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. Eventually, potentially, we'll find out.
In its due time, yeah, like a
its due
wizard, it's never late, always arrives precisely on time.
Yeah. Do you have any favorite archetypes? They can be also from the past or
Well,
current.
yes.
Yeah.
From the past, it's definitely Nilfgaard Reveal. Like, it's sad that we no longer have it in modern and post homecoming GWENT. I actually I spoke with the design team. I was kind of nudging
Pushing
them.
for it,
yeah,
yeah.
like, well, what about Reveal, guys? What do you think? Like, maybe we should let us see what the opponent is playing. Right? It was fun. But no, we don't have plans to bring the old reveal back. But it was fun back in the day. I really enjoyed all the wacky interactions this deck was providing. It was kind of also a nice bonus to know what cards your opponent have, so you can kind of expect certain moves and maybe play around them. That was my favorite jam from the beta times. In, let's say, the modern era of GWENT, Nilfgaard is still my favorite faction, but somehow I was recently sharing it with someone on the anniversary event that we had, that both times I was able to reach pro rank, both times I didn't do it with Nilfgaard, despite also having tons of opponents playing Nilfgaard, because I think it's not a secret. It's probably the most popular faction we have, or at least like in a solid top.
Nilfgaard.
And yeah, both times for me it was either vampires, no connection to my name though, and last time it was pirates.
Ooh, I
So
do love myself some
like
pirates.
I like tribals, right? And I like when you have this like very strong theme within the deck. So it's like you feel that you're like very lore friendly. Also, you're commanding vampires, or you're just commanding pirates, and you're having cards which are synergizing with each other nicely in this regard. And I last time I was able to reach pro rank last season. It was super fun to play against all these rent free players, destroying them occasionally with pirates. So that was a special kind of fun.
Yeah, I think pirates back in the day, especially the great sword and the ship. You play a great sword, you play a ship. You play a great sword, you play a ship.
Back in the day, I wasn't that much fan of this deck, but current iteration of pirates is very wholesome. Like it's damage, armor, and
Wholesome,
it's
Wholesome pirates. No, I enjoyed the OG pirates as well, and in general the whole Skellige shenanigans of rezzing and
Raising Dead.
and
Yeah.
rezzing
Oh,
more,
I hated
and rezzing
that.
more.
'Cause I remember that.
And I know it was completely stupid and a very crazy time in GWENT, but when we still had Silver Spies, and especially Skellige could create so many of those, where it was just your opponent and you back and forth creating Silver Spies.
Silver
For like a
Spies.
week or so, I enjoyed it so much because it was so wacky and crazy, but obviously I'm happy that it left the game, but still it was crazy time, especially because I really miss playing Heim and
Oh, yeah.
cards connected to it. I feel like the art is so cool, and like Ulfheden and those Gallagher arts are just.
Well, I
my
mean,
jam.
maybe these cards actually will see the light of day again. I mean, they kind of went out of fashion and out of meta for a while, but
Yep. Eventually, maybe.
yeah.
This is easy when
Also,
I think.
I did really enjoy jamming those mechas back in the day. Just
Ray tracing.
them just growing and growing inside
Yeah.
your deck, and then you eat one and another one pops out with like 5 extra points. I was like, that's a lot of fun. Until you play against that one opponent that runs Swears and then just
Yeah.
deletes all the deckers in your deck. I remember that was also one of my favorite moments at esports
yeah.
as well. Was like when Colemon was playing Neckers and I can't remember who it was, played against him and
And
deleted
just
them.
forfeited immediately.
Yeah, and he just forfeited.
Yeah.
See ya.
I have a feeling it might be super JG, but yeah,
Yeah, that I think it was.
good stuff.
Good stuff indeed. And here, in the background, we've actually got a very nice monster mirror. The Wild Hunt versus the Overwhelming Hunger. And Jean has acquired a decent amount of points here.
Ooh, okay.
And he's up a card in round 3.
Yeah. It's scenario is still in hand, so
Yeah. Even gold cards left
looks
to draw
promising.
into. It does.
Physics? I mean, it's a card game. But
Some more bronzes. Oh, some more.
plays the card, that's it.
One also thing, there was this question previously about Rose and Gwent, and I'm just looking at the screen. How changed our philosophy also when it comes to the overall setting, look and feel when it comes to the boards, right? That
Yep.
right now we're looking at the battlefield. It's no longer kind of a tavern feeling that you're having like this colorful kind of a play mat or
Yep.
like I don't know, kind of a
game board.
game board. Like the something that you could put on a table and play with these miniature cards. Right now, sure, there are still cards, but they're much more looking like your units or monsters that you're commanding, and also the leaders are standing on the battlefield like a proper generals sending their troops into battle.
Yep.
So this is actually cool because I remember when I discovered Gwent for the first time, I immediately thought that, well, this card game is so different from other card games I know. It's much more closer to war games, right? It's like the positioning matters. You have this the concept of actual units,
Yep.
and it's really tactical in nature. So it's less about just accumulate brute force and just attack your opponents every turn, aggro style and all that. So definitely, well, to each of their own, right? But for me, this new style and art style of Gwent when it comes to cosmetics also, and general look and feel is more suiting for such a strategic game as
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah, I agree. Do you have a favorite leader skin?
Favorite leader?
For me, it depends on the faction, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't think I have like one leader skin I'm using always. Like in Skellige, I usually run with the Skellige leaders, and monsters. It's depending on. Also, I can play with Eredin and White Frost. But if I'm playing something else, I can play someone else as well. So no, I don't think I have like
Damn, he
one
lost this one.
go-to leader I'm jamming. Although back in the day before we disconnected leader models from abilities, I think Morbran was my default one in Nilfgaard.
Cyberpunk tweeted, but
What
that's just the
about,
High Priestess card.
The time we had the extra.
For a second, I thought it was,
leader.
oh, okay.
Was it Remedy?
Yes.
Remedy?
That's a good meme.
Just for a
Yeah.
few days.
Hey, I don't know how many people in chat actually knows what you're talking about, but I'm sure there are
I'm
quite
sure there's
a few.
going to be some. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Gwent
I think
needs
for
guns.
me, if I play Northern Realms, I go to the Radovid Afrika skin. When it's Square Tell time, it's usually either Francesca in a very nice dress or Dana, especially the pink version. When I play probably anything else, I think it's either going to be the what's it called, Gontorodym. I think he's
Good
really
choice.
cool, just hovering above the board.
Yeah.
And the other one that's really cool is Shoop. And I think speaking of Shoop, we actually have a little gift for our viewers out there, especially the ones that are, not just letting us run in the background, but are actively watching. Because during our last party on Saturday, we created some gift bags, and I noticed that there was something left over. So we actually have these very nice Shoop leader skin cards here for you. So if you're interested in getting the skin in Gwent, then you should probably be ready to copy and screenshot and copy whatever you're going to see in like a few seconds on screen, because on the back side here is actually, I think the camera can see it. A nice code. No, but probably the focus point is probably somewhere here. So maybe the CSI enhanced strategy works, and you'll see the code here. If not, then I'll post it afterwards.
Imagine watching it on the phone, huh?
Yeah. So yeah, if you caught that code,
RIP.
you might be able to grab, if you're fast, a Shoop leader skin, and we've got another one waiting for you at the end of the stream.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to ask.
Unless
should I
you
do it now or?
Well,
Is it the end of this?
I think we can. I think we
Sure.
can play one more game and then we'll show it. How about that? I think
Sounds good.
Jean has a
New deck
a
or deck with
50%
changes.
win rate right now.
There you go.
All things are imbalanced.
Yeah, something like
Get
that.
ready for the next
Unless I
one.
missed something, so we'll see. We'll see what he comes up with for the next game, and
You know which character, which skin is also quite great, and it's not just a casual advertisement of the Auser journey being back in the shop, but Auser in terms of his voiceovers is one of the, I think, the most edgy characters that we have in Gwent. So all this bloody annoying and all this kind of statements that.
They already have the Rarok avatar. So we've got a viewer who decided to, Q-snipe our game designer.
I told you they're
let's see how
waiting.
this game turns out.
The snipe.
All right,
Very nice.
only fair play, Mr. Firefly 10.
Yeah. Oh, but they're rocking the nice cosmetics from the different journeys. Actually, a man or a woman or something in between of balancing out Triss and Yen with the card back and the skin.
Yeah.
Very nice, very nice. Let's see what they're playing though, because that's gonna be crucial for Jean to figure out here. But yeah, you're right. I think Alzo is one of the funniest characters. Just
Hey Jimmy,
with his
thanks so
voice
much for
lines
the donation.
and,
I do hope that
Thanks so much. Glad you enjoyed
after
the
the
content.
release of Rogue Mage,
you.
which was our latest single player
Nice avatar
expansion,
though.
also part of the 20th anniversary sale,
right.
the deluxe edition is discounted right now. So if you were hesitating before, this is your chance to grab.
You also get a bonus, right? If you own it.
Yes, for all owners, current and future ones, until the sale goes, of deluxe edition specifically, 500 metered powder is what you can grab for free in Gwent. So this is our just thank you gift to celebrate with you, and thank you for your support of Rogue Mage. And I was going to say that I do hope that now more people, thanks to Rogue Mage, are actually exposed to Auser as a character, know him better.
Yep.
I have a feeling when we initially introduced Auser, only lore freaks and like Witcher enthusiasts knew exactly who it is.
Yeah.
And hopefully right now we kind of raised his visibility a little bit more in the community, and it will make him more appreciated, because he totally deserves it.
That's true. Yeah, he's a very cool
Oh,
character.
tunnel drill.
The good old drill is back. Just waiting in the back,
Yeah.
Just waiting.
Hey man, a donation is a donation. Even if it's $1, it's still appreciated.
I think
Thank you.
the setup here is quite nice. I also like the coin they're rocking. One
It's
of the
from
Yennefer,
Yennefer,
Yennefer journey.
That's a cool skin for Yen, not gonna lie.
Awesome stuff. There's one question from Dreamboy. Do you have a favorite card art in Gwent?
Favorite card art?
There's so many good ones to choose from.
Yeah, it's
True, it's
it
a
is a
well-looking game.
difficult choice indeed. Well, I guess it would be Wilgefortz, the original one. It's I know it's probably very popular choice as well, but the moment depicted on it, the premium version of it, the sound,
The sound,
just
oh my
like
God.
absolutely bizarre. Yeah, it's a very cool one.
The sound is amazing. The sound is amazing.
What about you, Ren?
I think a premium version would probably be Heim. I just feel like the not Heim. I mean Offerden, because the moment when
Oh,
he
right.
just
Goes through,
crashes
breaks the ice.
the person through
Yeah.
the ice, it's just also sound-wise so incredible. But yeah, I like those Gallagher cars, especially their art. But I must say, like with every expansion, I feel like the artists are just creating more and more
7/8.
beautiful card art. Like for example, Renfrey, I think looks so cool. Such a cool card. Oneiromancy has a really cool premium as well, which is
Oh, yeah.
floating
By
through the
Lorenzo,
spheres
yeah.
and everything. So yeah, there's too much to choose from,
It's true. It's true.
definitely. Question about Rogue Mage. Are there any plans to add more bosses and cards to the single-player Gwent expansion?
Oh, so like cards from Rogue Mage to be introduced to Gwent multiplayer, or
I think we had, yeah, there was a question like that earlier as well, if we are planning to add more cards from Rogue Mage into our multiplayer
Right.
Gwent.
okay.
Let's answer that first.
So yeah, this one potentially yes. As always, the challenge of adding these cards, which are prepared for something else. We had this also
Yeah,
pool
it's
of
a good
cards
card.
in Thronebreaker, which is still
design.
not all of them
I
were
used it
used
before.
in Gwent, and we sometimes gradually adding them, but
Yeah.
still, like after all these years, we didn't release all of them. So it depends on a few factors. One is like how relevant they are for the theme that we're going with. So for example, if we're going with the Black Sun related expansion, do we have anything which fits the theme so it's not a huge stretch from the lore and flavor perspective as well?
Yep.
And the second one is if the card doesn't have a premium version, like what would it take to create one? Because whenever we are normally working on the cards in Gwent, the static 2D versions of the illustrations are already created with kind of the possibility of creating premium in mind, which makes it more complicated process. It's a longer process in general. And if we want to cut corners, like we did with tokens, for example, in the whole Gwent history, then we don't care about the premium variations. It
Yeah.
would be just a simpler task for artists that can be done faster. So that's also the answer. I don't know if there was a question about it or not, but that's also the question, like what takes so long with premification of tokens?
Yep.
Well, it can be done out of the box, unfortunately. So I wish we had more time to spend on this topic, but like as long as we are adding new cards and taking care of other crucial parts of the game, that always will be the priority of premification of tokens will be lower. Going back to this question about, from what I understand, it was about adding more content to the single player, right?
Exactly.
To Rogue Mage. It is possible. Like we said it from the very beginning that we considering going back to this release and see what's needed there, not only in terms of bug fixes but also in terms of new content, if that would make sense, if the game would be popular enough and would be received well enough. For now, it's still too early to say that we already have a clear understanding if we want to go this route or not. And definitely we don't have any timeline to share there, like when it might happen, if it will happen.
Yeah, we'll see what the future brings, but I think I'm very happy by the reception of specifically Gwent players as well, enjoying the game and
Yeah, it was
having
nice
an
game.
alternative once they're stressed
Short,
out
but
from
nice.
ladder, for example, or if they
Yeah.
just don't want to have the pressure of actually playing for a let's say,
Yeah.
spot on the ladder. So
Yeah,
it's a
maybe-
nice change of pace.
You know, one thing
What?
I think I mentioned before on one of the tweaks we did with Buja, just to clarify that we don't really see Rogue Mage as a kind of, you know, live game that will receive or supposed to receive regular updates in the same fashion
Yeah.
as Gwent. So definitely, you know, like adding this micro updates, which are just adding card here or a boss there, is not something feasible. But if we're talking about, you know, a bigger update, which is really justified from all sides of things, and it's really like we feel it's a really good idea, then sure, we would love to get back to this, you know, to this title and see what's possible there.
Yeah. A very good question, one that I can get behind as well, by Rikov here, is can, and I would add when, because I really want it in the game, when can we expect a skin of Geralt in the bathtub?
Oh, that would be a cool one, right?
I agree. And imagine him just laying back, you know,
Yeah.
commanding people when it's your turn out of the bathtub, and then going back again, you know. I can see it.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Like maybe it's you know, instead of being a skin, maybe it should be just part of the game board. Like the recent example is like, remember this game board that we released for Halloween, where it was like this hut of the crones.
Yeah.
Where it was Brewis, you know,
Yeah.
brewing right in the corner, or we also have this board with the Manticore on it. So sometimes we do
Hey,
have
Greg,
like
what's
this
up?
very sophisticated 3D models with animations on the board. So maybe, you know, like we should have this. It was actually Kair Morhen, right? Like where he was lying in the bathtub in the
Right, at
beginning
the
of The
start,
Witcher
yeah.
3. So, well, thanks for the idea.
That's a great idea. That is a great idea. I think, yeah, I can get behind that. I mean, leader would be fun as well, but I think just having the presence of them there. Then again, though, what happens if you then play with Geralt as a leader skin? Then there's
Yeah.
2 Geralts, or even 3 if the opponent plays it. I guess it's kind of like the fun of Gwent, right? You can be a bit wacky and have some fun with it.
True. Well, I can share that we have a very unorthodox idea for the leader, which hopefully we will be able to, you know, implement and release this year. But I won't be spilling any more beans. Just saying that it's, if we will pull it through, you will notice that it's very unusual.
That's
this other deck
very
is-
intriguing, very intriguing. And now I'm also interested to see where we end up on
in this match.
in this match. Currently 2 points ahead.
Well,
Is he gonna do
Jean
it?
shaking
is there
his head.
anything that the opponent can play which will not cost at least 2 points? That's the question.
Well, there it is. He's just too kind. He's just too kind to the community, gifting.
Yeah.
Maybe not gifting prime subs, but gifting wins to the opponents.
Right.
Good guy, Jean. Yeah, I think
my
he-
God.
Maybe, you know, what another possible explanation here is that maybe we were stream sniped in this match, and that's kind of why it went this way.
potentially. Yeah.
Mr. Firefly,
I'll answer
watching
that
us,
question in a
you
second.
should be ashamed of yourself. If you're not watching us, well, GG, well played.
Yeah. And in general, thanks for playing, obviously.
And thanks for watching the stream.
Thanks for
Come on,
watching the
yeah.
stream. Thanks for playing Jean as well. You did a great job. So I think you can treat our community with another code if you
All
want.
right, if I can, let's. Are you
Okay, get
prepared
ready,
for this?
GOG
I'm going
redeem.
to slowly rotate it and observe.
A little bit
I
in the
wonder if
back.
they can see it. Because
Yeah,
if not,
we'll-
we're gonna look pretty funny here. But I think
Why
it's
is no
possible.
one
I
pulling
think
the
it's possible,
focus?
you
What's
know?
going on?
Enhance. Maybe if it's like 1 or 2 things you can't see, then it's just a guessing
Why is
game,
no-
and everyone
Yeah.
can.
Pulling the
can
focus.
Yeah. You know at least how many symbols there, right? So like in a couple of thousand of years, you will be able to crack this code.
Exactly. Well, I think we're slowly gonna move this stream to its end. It was a great time chatting with you about
It was
Gwent
fun,
and
not
its
gonna
history.
lie. It was
and
really
Always,
fun.
always a
favorite
pleasure.
moments. Thank you all for suggesting questions in the chat, and to our moderators of keeping the chat clean and sending us those questions. A little spoiler, the next stream will actually be on Thronebreaker, so there will be
Ooh.
more Gwent for everyone to enjoy, which
Expected.
is really cool.
Then Cyberpunk.
I think we're going to have a very nice setup here as well. I think it's going to be probably going to be Burja sitting here together with a designer. I'm not exactly sure on the guest yet, but you can be sure that it's a very nice person, because everyone that worked on that game is very cool and very nice, and I'm jealous because it's
Which
an
are
awesome
3
game.
people actually
Anyways,
worked on, like,
thank you so much for taking the
top
time.
people worked on
enjoying me.
Thronebreaker.
Thank you. You know, I'm always glad to be in this studio, especially, you know, being in this seat and being able to talk about my favorite game. So
Yes.
thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, and thank you all for watching. Thank you all for playing, and we'll see you next time. Bye. Bye.
Okay, see ya. Alright, I'm gonna start answering questions now. Just let me see if the... Oh yeah, I have to... How do I even... This is gonna be rough. Okay, this is gonna be ghetto. Look at this. Oh my god, let me change the resolution here. Oh, where do I change the resolution even? Device default. I don't even know. Custom resolution. Let me just change the resolution. Because this is ghetto. Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm sorry for this. It's so bad. It's so ghetto. I'm like, okay. Okay, now we're good. Now we're good. Okay, I need to pull the camera here a little bit. Wide boy. I should have left. Alright, so this was actually great. It was fun, definitely. I wasn't expecting this to be this fun, but it was fun. Alright, now let me answer some questions that I missed. So Jimmy, let's see. I've got an idea for content. Do some live streams where you just walk around your city. I was actually thinking about doing that now. I don't live in Sarajevo. I live in Tuzla, which is a different city, relatively close to Sarajevo. But I was actually thinking of doing something similar to this. But again, I'll have to see how I'm going to do that, because honestly, I don't want to dox myself. Understandably so, because I already had people trying to find me. They even found like my real name, like my full name is not really hidden, but I was surprised that people actually found me. So yeah, I was thinking of doing that, definitely. So it's not a bad idea. I mean, I wouldn't do it for money and super chats, but it would be still fun to do nevertheless. Yes, I was also thinking of streaming gameplay when 1.6 drops. So I'll do a video when 1.6 drops, or well, more video depending on the update, and then I'm also gonna do a stream and do a playthrough of Cyberpunk 2077, and we're going to do a playthrough of The Witcher 3 once the update comes out. Hopefully at the end of the year I'm gonna be able to do it. All right, cool poster. Yeah, it's really good. It's actually like it's a full-on canvas. Just nice. I mean, it's printed canvas obviously, but it's really cool. So I had to change the camera a little bit because we were having issues. Camera didn't want to start for some reason, but yeah. Yeah, satisfied with CDPR. Keep in touch with the fans. I mean, yeah, this was good. I mean, I like how openly they talk about changes here. Meanwhile, I mean, when you talk, it's gonna be interesting to see how are they gonna talk about Cyberpunk when that's out. But yeah, it's kind of expected that we get Thronebreaker and then we get Cyberpunk 2077, and that's gonna be about it when it comes to this. But yeah, I will definitely stream 1.6. We'll do a walkthrough of Cyberpunk. And then we're going to, I guess, wait for The Witcher 3 next-gen update. And then I'm going to play through that. And I'm thinking of actually live streaming those playthroughs as well, because, I mean, I'm still trying to decide which one is going to fit the most. But, yeah, we'll see. Yeah, so when The Witcher update drops, I think majority of mods are going to be broken. Again, that depends on certain mods, because certain mods can withstand updates, but you like 90% of them won't. Especially now when you have, like, let's say a bigger update, which again is not going to change the game too much, but it's still probably gonna change the code a little bit. So it might be that you're gonna have a lot of incompatible mods, and it's gonna be up to mod creators to see if they're going to actually like update those mods, because ultimately that's up to people who created those mods if they're going to update them or not. Boston accent better than Polish accent? I don't know. I don't know about that. I think it doesn't have to be better or worse. An accent is an accent. I think Polish is a lot more understandable and more clear. But I don't know. I mean, don't compare my accent to general Bosnian English accents, because I grew up on English, like English video games and English, obviously, Cartoon Network and all of that. So I have more of that custom kind of accent. Yeah, so the modders, it's gonna be up to modders to see if they're going to update those mods or not. I mean, for Cyberpunk 2077, Cyberpunk 2077 mods are a lot more resilient, I think, when it comes to updates, because usually I'm just going to reinstall CyberEngine tweaks, get a new version in, and then most of the mods are going to work. At least that was happening with 1.5. But modding The Witcher 3 is actually a little bit more complicated than modding Cyberpunk, just because mods work in a little bit of a different way for Cyberpunk. They're a little bit more streamlined. You're really well spoken. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I mean, I still, it's not my primary language, so it's kind of difficult, but it is what it is. I mean, I've been on YouTube for 10 years now. In September, it's going to be 10 years of the channel. So we're going to have a big event. I'm going to be streaming that. We're going to be going through like what was happening with the channel and so on and so on. But yeah, I need to keep the wide for future live streams. But yeah, this was fun. So I'm going to be releasing a new video in about 2 hours, because it needs to upload, and I mean, upload is not a problem, but YouTube needs to process 4K, so that's gonna be that. And the origin of Last Known Meal, like, honestly, like, when it comes to my name, or well, Last Known Meal, it was just a random words that I tried to come up with, which is going to kind of be interesting. There wasn't really anything too much about it, except I like food, I like eating food, like making food. So it might be that, but at the same time, like, it was very random. Like, I was looking for a name which is going to fit in like the search algorithm a little bit, but I wasn't really thinking it through all that much, because when I started, when you typed in Last Known Meal, the first video you get is not my channel, obviously. You get Last Known Meal of death row prisoners. So at the beginning of this channel, once you type in my name, that's what you got. Obviously now it was changed, so now when you type in Last Known Meal, you actually get my channel and my videos. And actually, when you type in my name, the videos you get are, I don't know, they're kind of different. Like, it mostly like presents older videos I did, which I don't like. I want it to be like new videos, but at the same time, it is what it is. So that's the origin of Last Known Meal. Nothing too specific, but something which is going to stand out. It's actually a very confusing name for a lot of people, but it stays. That's what's important, because Last Known Meal, like, it's such a random set of words when you think about it. It's so random. But it works, because it keeps you in your mind for a longer period of time. And you can always cut it to LKM. So that's it. That's pretty much the origin. Did they announce next gen update for the Wild Hunt? No. So there not gonna be any updates. I don't know if it's gonna have an update on like the Cyberpunk stream, because everyone is waiting for a patch, and maybe, but at the same time, I wouldn't hold my breath that it's going to happen, pretty much. But it's kind of weird that, I mean, it's not weird. Maybe they're waiting, for September or something, but people are getting worried that we're not getting any like screenshots about the next gen update. Is it gonna be delayed? Only thing I wish is for CDPR to say, no, the next gen update is not delayed. It's coming out when we said in the Q4 2022. I think for a lot of people that would be enough. Like, yes, it's coming out, and we can calm down a little bit, because now it's like, you get worried a little bit. How come you haven't verified yet? There are, okay, well, honestly, when it comes to verification process, that's, you need to have like the rules now. You need to have 100,000 subscribers before you can apply, I think. So you need to have 100,000 subs, and then you can kind of get the verified thing. But yeah, I mean, it's not up to me. Actually, getting verified on YouTube is weird sometimes, because I'm going to see channels that have much less subscriber than me, like 30k, and they're verified. I'm like, how? I mean, it's not really a problem, because I don't have a lot of like fake channels which represent me. So I mean, it's verified is not really like that important. YouTube algorithm seems to mess with a lot of original creators. I mean, YouTube algorithm is, it's all over the place. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I don't like to blame algorithm too much, you know, because sometimes it's just how it goes. But you know, sometimes when you upload a video and you're like, you actually get people asking me why I haven't seen this video, or when I'm streaming this, people ask me like, how come I didn't get the notification that you're live streaming and I have like full notifications on. So for some it works, for some it doesn't, but look, it is what it is. I mean, bigger channels that have millions of subs, even they cannot like talk to YouTube and like find out stuff. It's basically like, what can I do? I'm just a smaller channel in a sense, so I don't really have like, I mean, one good thing about this is that I can access support for my channel for YouTube. That's a plus, that's a benefit, which is nice, but you know, YouTube is getting worse all the time. I mean, well, in some areas it's getting worse, in some areas it's getting better. Today it's kinda, if you have a certain formula for videos, it's relatively easier to get views. But at the same time, I saw channels that had like 500,000 views per video, 600, boom, they fall to 10,000, boom, they fall for 5,000, and that's like a span of a few videos. You know, it's weird, but I don't go into that, because ultimately I just like making videos. If they do well, they do well. If they don't, they don't. I mean, it is what it is, pretty much. I mean, generally from like, let's say live streams, I don't make money from these live streams. I do them because I like to interact with the community. I like to interact with you. I like to just have fun around this, but you don't really make money off of live streaming on YouTube. Like, you can insert ad, for example, boom, like at the end, what I like to do, but even that is pretty much not gonna, but it's fine. It's absolutely fine, because I primarily make videos. I don't really, you know, I don't live stream all that much, but I was thinking of doing more live streams here on YouTube, see how they goes. Honestly, if I'm gonna be having issues live streaming on YouTube because, you know, there might be a piece of music which kind of like demonetizes the live stream, or it like brings it down, I'll just go to Twitch and stream there, like if I'm gonna be streaming games. Yeah, I mean, Twitch also has its set of issues, definitely. Like, it's not perfect whatsoever. Like, Twitch definitely has their own set of issues that I've noticed from people, and etc. And actually, like, I don't know, even discovered on Twitch, it's not that easy the way you think. You seem like a nice, genuine person. If I'm nice, I don't know that, but thanks. But thanks so much for watching. Yeah, I don't know. I like to do this because I like to do this, pretty much. I always did it, and I don't think I will ever stop uploading videos. Like, I don't know. It's nice. It's fun. It's definitely fun. Especially like when more games start coming out. Like, obviously we have this drought now, which is kind of bad for a lot of channels because you don't really have new content, but that's good because I can always go back to old content and talk about older games. My best video is proof you can start a new game plus a level 100. It got over. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, the videos that I never thought are going to reach certain amount of views, they got it. And the videos that you kind of think, all right, this video might get more views, it can fail. Absolutely. So it's random. It's absolutely random. Like, obviously, like some videos which are more useful, like mod videos, they're going to be it. But my advice to everyone who wants to start a YouTube channel right now and who wants to generate traffic through their channel is do videos which people would search for. So guides, things you should know, even reviews, because reviews generate views over time. Every time you have a sale on Steam, people are gonna go. But even review scene's a little bit tough because you have the big boys reviewing games, so they're going to be on top. So basically my advice is do videos that people would search for, that are going to be useful for the beginning, you know, like if you're gonna have a guide or something like that, because people will search for that. It's kind of an easier video to be discovered on. Discussion videos, I mean, it's yeah. Just make useful videos at the beginning, which are guides and tutorials, and that's gonna bring you in views. It's actually been proven multiple times. Doesn't CDPR have an investors call next month? Yeah, I think it's on the 7th. Let me check. I think it automatically like tells me when is that happening. Yeah, it's on the 7th, I believe. 7th of September they're gonna have an investor call. Also been checking the Rogue Mage single player, and right now you can see it has actually mixed reviews. So that's, I saw that it was like 57. I don't know why it's even that, like, yeah. So basically what people are complaining about Rogue Mage is that it becomes incredibly boring after 3rd or 4th run. Too much RNG, not enough customization, which is the strongest point of Gwent, not enough content, map is always the same. So that's basically what people are saying about Rogue Mage. Do you ever wish you were involved in the games industry? In the future, why not? I mean, I already like, I mean, my job is in film, theater, TV, event, but not specifically about gaming. But I would love to go into gaming, probably not as a coder or something like that, because I don't know how to work in those programs. Hey Ruben, what's up? Just joined the stream. You actually missed the stream itself. They talked about Gwent. Next week is going to be Thronebreaker, and then week after that, most likely Cyberpunk 2077. They gave away some stuff for Gwent, and that's pretty much it. They talked about the game. It was fun, actually. It was a lot of fun. So after this stream is done, I'm going to obviously it's gonna be uploaded so you can watch it. So right now I'm gonna be going to eat. I'm gonna leave my other video to upload, so there's gonna be a video in about, as I said, 1 to 2 hours until it processes and gets uploaded. Thank you all for coming. Thank you for stopping by. Next week, obviously, same time, we're gonna be streaming, and we'll see what's gonna be about. Or well, we know it's gonna be about Thronebreaker, but who are they going to bring? That we don't know, pretty much. So yeah, that's what's happening with that. And of course, more content is coming because now I have more time to make more content. Okay, have a great day, everyone. Get some rest and just enjoy your life. We talked about the end of the world. Will you play the Ascent Heist DLC? I don't know. Maybe. Actually, Ascent is a really good game. I might even review it. Yeah, thanks all for coming, and I will see you next time. Bye bye. And also check us out on Twitter and Discord and all that stuff which I usually say. Stay classy.